Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, wherever and whenever you are. Welcome to our review of WWE Bad Blood. I'm here with Mike this evening. Mike, how are you doing?
I'm great. I'm excited because we both just finished catching up on Bad Blood. We weren't able to catch it live this week because we actually went to an MMA fight, which we didn't mention in the main episode. Completely forgot about it.
Yeah, Shogun MMA. It was really good. Great fighters over there.
Yeah, if you're ever in the Arundel Mills area, you got to check it out. It's over there at the Maryland Live Casino.
We went in support of one of my wife's friends, Pat Rivera. He was unable to fight due to COVID. Good old COVID strikes again.
Strikes again. Hate to see it.
Yeah, let's get right into Bad Blood. Mike, first and foremost, what are your thoughts on Bad Blood in general?
I thought it was good. I thought it was a solid pay-per-view. There was a premium live event. Eventually, I'll get that right.
No, we won't.
There's a lot of big surprises in there. A lot of big things happen. So I'm excited to get into it and discuss it.
All right. First and foremost, it kicked off with a blood feud, the best feud in the WWE right now. CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre in a Hell in a Cell match. Punk ends up picking up the win after this just brutal match with a go to sleep with a chain wrapped around his knee. What are your thoughts on this match in general?
Well, I think this match delivered. It lived up to the hype of that rivalry for me, as it got bloody super early after CM Punk hit Drew McIntyre with a steel toolbox. A lot of false finishes, as we'd expect. A solid finish, like you talked about, the go to sleep with a steel chain around his leg. A look at a disgruntled Drew after the match ended, which kind of leads us to believe they might continue later on down the road. They might meet back up again. But Punk is winner of 2 out of 3 in their trilogy, so I think they might end up wrapping it up for now. Don't know why you would have a Hell in a Cell match if it's not going to be the final one of the trilogy. But I think this is the rivalry of the year, hands down. I'd rate the match probably about 4 to 4.5 out of 5 stars. I do wish, they had some different weapons in there. It felt like it was all just coming out of the toolbox. I wish it was a little more creative, but it was a really, really good Hell in a Cell match. Definitely one of the better Hell in a Cell matches I've seen.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I'm kind of there with you. I rated it out of 10 stars, obviously. I rated it a 9 out of 10. This was a great match. Punk and Drew came out both looking just insanely good. The match had great storytelling throughout, including the beads getting tossed in the ring, getting poured into Punk's mouth, apparently. That was a little weird, but I liked it. The match overall was just great. Like you said, insanely bloody, and it got bloody quick. It got just brutal. I loved it. There wasn't one part of this match where I felt bored. And I went into this match thinking Punk was probably going to win. But as the match progressed, I didn't know who was going to win.
Yeah. Yeah, it was definitely hard to tell. Like you said, rivalry of the year. And those two guys worked a lot of magic together. So I do hope that they meet back up at some point, whenever that is down the road. So a lot of fun to watch that match.
Moving on to the next match of the night, the WWE Women's Championship match between Bayley and champion Nia Jax. Nia Jax retains after a really good match and a good spot where Tiffany Stratton comes to save Nia. And then there's this whole thing where, Nia sees her and the ref talking with the briefcase. I actually enjoyed that a lot. It was a great side story. How did you feel about this match, Mike?
Yeah, it started off pretty slow. They had a few little sloppy spots in there. It picked up around the time Tiffany Stratton came down, performed that false cash-in with her Money in the Bank briefcase. And then, like you said, she was caught by Nia, who, of course, she's been working alongside of in the storyline. The chemistry between the three, I don't know how to feel about it. I feel like the chemistry is sometimes a little bit off. I don't know if it's a timing issue or what it is. I think the chemistry at times lacks between the three. But ultimately, the distraction of Tiffany gave Nia the win. And I think I expected Nia to win, so that's going to continue the storyline between those three. That'll be fun to watch. I personally would say it was a decent match. I didn't rate this one too high. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. I might be being a little critical. Might give it 3.5. I thought it was decent.
I gave this a 7 out of 10. I should really switch to the 5-star matrix like you, so we're not.
That's okay.
Being
it's all about
weirdos.
variety.
But personally, I did enjoy this. Nia really started to expand her moveset in this match. I think this is her best match since she came back.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I love the kind of Hurricanrana she hit on Bayley. And then I love that Bayley Samoan dropped Nia.
Yeah, that was
so
cool.
it was pretty creative. So I gave this a 7 out of 10. Pretty solid match.
Yep.
Moving on though, we have another good rivalry going on between Finn Balor and Damian Priest. This match was great. I'm just gonna Damian opened it up with that just aggressive assault, and I think these two had really good chemistry together.
They do, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that was a solid match. Definitely still feels like it's just the start of the Finn and Damian feud as the Judgment Day versus Damian and Rhea beef continues, which I'm still loving how they've been booking that. Match was great from a storyline perspective in terms of how it progresses the story as well. I thought the match was good. It was about as I expected it would go. I think Damian continues to get better. And like you said, they have really good chemistry with each other. I would personally give this match just under 4 out of 5 stars for me from a just pure wrestling standpoint.
Yeah.
I gave it 3.8. I felt like 3.5 was too low, so I went 3.8 out of 5 stars for me.
Yeah, I gave this a 7 out of 10 as well. I feel like it gets a little boring when we get into the whole interference.
Yeah.
It clearly was going to happen. It happened. I hate seeing JD McDonough's face.
Big ass head.
Yeah. So, it was a good match. It's just not what I really wanted in the end, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Moving on, though, to Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan for the other women's championship match. This one was an interesting stipulation as it was a Dominic suspended in a shark cage match. It was a fun one. It was a fun match.
It was.
My heart literally dropped when Dominic fell.
Yeah.
We were kind of joking about it when they started to open the door.
Yep. Yeah, that was a cool spot they did. It opened up the door, and I didn't even know Dominic was chained by his ankle, but flops out of the front of the cage. It's elevated down, I don't know, 20 feet in the air or something like that. Ends up dangling by his ankle. Like you said, that gave us a heart attack.
Yeah.
It happened right after we joked, like, what if he fell out of the cage on live TV? But that was a really cool spot. It was unexpected. It was well executed. And it was funny how Rhea turned him into a piñata.
Yep.
This match absolutely delivered as well. I really love the feud with Rhea, Dom, and Liv that continues to build and continues to deliver. It's one of my favorite feuds going on right now. And I think this match only added to it as Raquel Rodriguez made a surprise return to help Liv Morgan. Now, I did read, and Andrew, I forgot to mention this to you, but I actually read, according to Fightful, that's the source that published this, apparently that was heavily botched, and the actual finish was supposed to see Raquel Rodriguez take out Rhea and then put Liv on top for the pin, but Raquel came out too early, and the ref clearly saw her, so the ref was forced to call it early because it would be too obvious.
I could actually tell that's what happened. Because the ref kind of saw Raquel coming out and then turned around to go back to the ring. Yeah. And then turned back around to come back out to help Dominic when she entered the ring. Yeah. So it didn't make sense. So yeah, now I see that it was incredibly botched. Yeah. I don't think it matters too much in the end.
Same result.
Yeah. I think at the end of the day we're gonna get that third match, and it's kind of predictable. Yeah. I wish Saquon was here so he could say that.
That's his favorite line.
But all jokes aside, it was a good match. I'd still have to give it like a 6 out of 10.
Yeah, I gave this one 4.5 out of 5 stars. We're on like different wavelengths with how we rate it. Yeah. But I don't know. I think it's just because I'm partial to the Rhea, Dom, and Liv storyline.
The match itself was great. It was the botch finish.
Yeah,
It felt so awkward. We were talking like, who called for the bell? The ref didn't call for the bell. Why is she covering? You know?
because she threw Liv on and then nothing happened. But in all fairness, I did rate this in my notes before I saw that it was a botch. So somewhere around there, maybe.
Even then, before the botch, it was just before we knew it was a botch. It was an awkward finish.
Yeah,
and for me, the finish needs to be strong.
Yeah, that's fair. Especially if it's a return, I could see that.
Yeah. Speaking of strong finishes, though, let's move on to our main event.
Absolutely.
As we saw a tag team match between Roman Reigns, the OTC, and Cody Rhodes versus your tribal chief, Solo Sikoa.
# not my tribal chief.
And the Samoan werewolf, Jacob Fatu.
Yep.
This was it was a great match. Good build throughout the match. Good storytelling. Cody and Roman not really trusting each other, but needing each other type deal.
Yeah, it was great. I think a lot of people probably were skeptical of how the Roman and Cody teaming up would go. It was pretty smooth. Everybody in the match had good chemistry. It was a solid match all the way around, and of course, we saw a couple surprising returns. The first one was Jimmy Uso returned to help Roman.
No yeet.
That's right. He returned in a full hoodie, as they do every single time.
Oh, yeah. And a mask.
Yeah, and a mask. That was really cool to see. I like the way they did it. Jimmy, just his facial expressions, the way he moves, the way he does everything. Always fun to watch him involved in storyline. So that was a cool return.
Came to save save Solo. No, sorry. He came to save Roman when when Tangaloa and Tama came out. Yeah.
Yeah, he saved them, and then Roman and Jimmy ended up going back to the ring to help Cody. He was getting jumped.
Yep. And then we saw the return of the final boss.
Yeah, The Rock came back. I didn't expect that at all, to be honest with you.
No, I didn't either. It was interesting, but again, it was just this weird, I don't know if his presence is enough.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's a little weird since he became a member of the board as well, and that he works there. But, I'm sure he's not always there, but regardless, the principle of him being there, But I'm sure it'll lead to something cool. I mentioned this to you off podcast. I felt like they could have waited till the next PLE to bring him back. I remember this PLE that time.
Yep.
I don't know. I feel like that kind of took away from Jimmy's return a little bit. But he didn't really do anything. He just showed up and did 1, 2, 3 with his fingers and then left. And that was all he did. But
intense.
It was. It does take us.
Crowd reaction was pretty interesting. Another thing I wanted to point out in this particular match was a nice little callback Cody did, where he saluted off to Roman and then jumped off the top rope to put Jacob Fatu through a table.
Yeah. That was cool.
It was a good callback to when Jacob Fatu put Roman through a table.
Yep. Yeah, it was a solid PLE. All the way around.
I would give this match 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I actually gave this one 5 stars. Just
5
because
stars.
It had everything in there. Personally, I could have done without.
It didn't have everything. It didn't have a Tama Tonga botch.
That's true, which is surprising because that's usually in there somewhere. But, I don't know. It felt like it was everything that it needed to be, and that's why I gave it 5 stars. But there was one other thing I wanted to talk about, was something they've kind of been doing on a weekly basis. I don't know if you've been catching any of the shows, Andrew. I know it's kind of hard for you to watch Raw. But the way they've been building Braun and Bronson Reed, I got to make sure I don't get the names mixed up because there's so many.
Wait, which Braun again?
Braun Strowman.
Okay. Yeah.
The way they've been booking them and having these crazy matches where they just absolutely destroy each other. Haven't seen a feud between big men like that in a while, so I just wanted to say that it was really cool. It's been really cool to see how they've been building them, because for a while it didn't seem like they knew how to book Bronson Reed.
Oh, I like this booking of Bronson Reed, and he's super athletic. I would love to see let's just get a big man battle royale.
Yeah.
Bronson Reed, throwing Braun Breaker, Ivar.
Yeah.
I love Ivar.
Yeah. Very underrated as well, but yeah, I just love that feud and how it's been booked. I feel like they're finally perfectly utilizing both Braun and Bronson, and they're both executing that feud perfectly. And This past week, Seth Rollins actually returned. They'd had a last man standing match, those two did, and Seth Rollins returned, hit a stomp on Bronson Reed on the steel steps, and that kept him down for the 10 count, and Braun Strowman won the match. So
I did see that.
yeah, that feud between Seth and Bronson is going to be reignited, and Seth Rollins is officially back. So
Yeah. And that's big. That's a big feud to get into with Seth Rollins.
it is.
But that could also break you, like, Austin Theory.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to break Bronson Reed. He's not even a talker. He's just, I'm going to kick your ass.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the future will be bright for him. I hope they don't completely bury him and that they continue to make him look strong at least. But also, there was one other thing. Just the overall production value of the shows week to week has been crazy. Like, they've been, for anybody that doesn't know, they've kind of moved networks around recently. SmackDown moved to USA Network from Fox, and Netflix is moving to, Raw is moving to Netflix next year.
Netflix is moving to Raw.
Is moving to Raw. And then NXT moved to the CW. So they're all kind of moving networks. I guess it's when the deals are up or whatever. It's that time of the contract. But with that has come sort of a change in the production. There's been a lot of experimentation with one of the matches, I think on SmackDown, had just a consistent one shot with a guy on the outside, filming through the ropes, and he would travel all the way around the ring and go up and down super smoothly, and it was just the whole match was one continuous shot. It was really cool the way they did it, and they've been doing a lot of little things like that. Even just the quality of production has gone up. So I don't know. We keep talking about how wrestling's finally cool again, and it's back at its peak, and they just continue to amaze me week after week. So.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of fun to watch WWE lately.
Yeah, it is getting exciting. And yeah, it's always nice to see production value increase because that means they're getting better funds for the production, which means they're doing better for themselves, which means we should get a better product, hopefully.
Yeah.
I did have a couple questions.
Shoot.
Now that we're done reviewing the PLE, it's questions referring to people in the PLE.
Mm-hmm.
What's next for CM Punk?
Well, I'm really looking forward to the Seth Rollins feud, but I think that'll probably be held off till WrestleMania season, especially since Seth is in it with Bronson Reed right now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what's next for Punk. There is a chance he could continue with Drew. I don't want that to happen. I feel like it would be kind of drawn out if they did that. But that's still a little bit open-ended. I don't know what would be next for him. Maybe
not Gunther.
Yeah, I don't. Well, we didn't talk about that either. We didn't talk about the announcement.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
But yeah, we'll get into that in a second. But yeah, as for what's next for CM Punk, it's hard to say really. I think it's gonna have to be something completely fresh. Maybe he's on Raw, right?
Yes.
Maybe you could get into it with Braun Breaker or something like that. Would be cool. I don't know. I have trouble keeping up with the weekly shows these days, to be honest with you. But I don't know. It's really open-ended for him. He could be thrust into just about anything.
That's true. Okay, yeah, I don't understand. My next question would be, what's next for Drew McIntyre?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I'm going to start with what I think. I think Drew McIntyre is going to be thrown into a feud with Gunther.
Really?
Yeah, and I know he lost the feud and everything, but I can't see CM Punk being any type of contender towards Gunther at all.
Yeah, I don't know. That whole thing will be very interesting because they've kind of been intertwined for so long.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know what else could be next for him either. Those two have really good chemistry, so I'd be down for it. I'd like to see something fresh for him. I just don't know what at this point. There's so many people already involved in stuff.
Hey, Mike, how are you feeling about Nia's title run so far?
I don't mind it. I think it's really revolving around Tiffany Stratton with that briefcase, and I think she's going to be the one to take it off of Nia. I like the way that they're booking Nia. She's been booked pretty strong, and like we talk about so many times recently, she's improved a lot since her last run in the WWE.
Yeah.
So it's been fun to watch, and I think she's doing a great job. She's holding up her end as champion for sure. And I gotta be honest, I'm excited to see whenever the time comes for Tiffany to cash in. I think that whole thing will unfold in a really cool way, so that'll be fun to watch.
I'm hoping it's not for a while, honestly.
Probably
I'm
won't be till. I don't think it'll be till WrestleMania, honestly.
You don't WrestleMania?
Yeah. at the earliest.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see maybe the Rumble,
Yeah,
Mania,
yeah.
around that time frame.
Yeah.
Mania would be big.
It would be. Tiffany would have earned it, that's for sure.
Oh, for sure, yeah. That's all the questions I had for this, though. I feel like we know what's next for a lot of these, like Finn and Damien. They're not done yet, you know. Same with Rhea and Liv.
Mm-hmm.
They're not done yet. Obviously, the Bloodline aren't going to be done for ever.
Yeah.
So, that's pretty much it from here. If you want to get into that announcement.
All right. Triple H also had a big announcement about midway through the show. He announced that Crown Jewel of this year is going to feature the reigning world champions will be facing each other. Neither title will be on the line, but the winner will be crowned Crown Jewel champion. That belt that they reveal looks absolutely incredible, by the way.
Yeah.
But that was followed by Gunther coming out, current heavyweight champion, coming to insult Goldberg, who was in the front row. Goldberg jumped the barricade. Security stopped him, and then Sami Zayn came in and jumped Gunther from behind ahead of their match tomorrow night at the time of this recording, which will be on Monday Night Raw. This segment was very unexpected, very high energy. I liked it a lot, and it was a cool segment for the middle of the show, I felt. Andrew, how do you feel about that Crown Jewel announcement?
I actually personally liked it. I don't know if this is going to be I don't think it's going to be anything like a real title or anything. I don't know.
Nah, probably just like same thing as a trophy type of deal.
Yeah. But it does, like, when they used to do the champion versus champion matches.
Yeah.
And I like that a lot.
Yeah, it's kind of an elevated way to do that, it feels.
It is, yeah. And I always like bragging rights. I don't know who would come out in that match because Gunther's just been looking so powerful lately.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be cool to see Gunther and Cody mix it up. That would be a lot of fun. I think they would have pretty good chemistry and their styles would mesh pretty well.
Absolutely, yeah. You got anything else, Mike?
That's all I got.
All right, well, that's all I have personally. This is going to be the new setup, how we're doing it on the Free State Sports Podcast channel. We are now splitting up our videos. This is going to be coming out on a Friday, and then most of you, if you guys already watched it, we have videos that get posted on Wednesday. Those are going to be our football, basketball, baseball, anything we need to cover in the sports world over there. And this is strictly going to be for sports entertainment, WWE, AEW, etc., etc.
Yep.
And apparently MMA when we talk about that.
Yeah, we'll figure it out as we go, but it's a cool way to kind of divide it because a lot of the people that come for the main sports don't really watch wrestling, so it's a cool way to kind of build a community specifically for wrestling and then a community specifically for the other sports. So be sure to follow along both parts of each podcast as we put them out.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And we'll be trying to do announcements inside both videos. We might slip up sometimes and not do it. Get the full picture, watch both videos.
Yeah.
No pressure, please.
Yeah, check them out. Check it out on YouTube and on Spotify. And follow us on Instagram, too. We post updates over there from time to time. Trying to get more active on there. Also trying to get more followers, so please follow us on Instagram.